So there's a small YouTube channel named IShowSpeed, and this is definitely going to get me canceled because IShowSpeed's pretty popular. However, I have my reasons, you have yours, and I will respect you whether or not this video gets entirely hate comments. But before you drop a hate comment, I'd like to state my case. The things I'll be criticizing IShowSpeed for are texting while driving.
Chat, what's that song? Bro.
Damn!
The fuck are they doing, bro?
Being ridiculously immature for a 21-year-old, as well as inappropriate jokes and a few other things I sprinkled throughout the video that I personally disagree with. And no, I'm not talking about the, oh, he hurt my feelings by calling me a yellow banana skin person. I'm just talking about how genuinely disgusting and sick this guy kinda is, in my opinion, and deserves some sort of scrutiny and criticism at the very least. And I'm also not saying that we should all cancel IShowSpeed. These were all just things that happened a while ago. Some of them happened a little bit more recently, but it's just more of just me going like, I just really don't like this guy. I mean, like, this guy, for somebody who's so popular, he's really just kind of insufferable to me. And obviously, I'm simply here just to speak my mind as to why I dislike the current state of content creation, specifically the IShowSpeed. And even if that means I lose subscribers in this video, I don't really care. I'm literally doing this for a hobby. I don't even make money off of this. That's why you didn't see an ad at the beginning of this video or any of my videos. So yeah, I mean, before we continue, just know that everything here is just my opinion. Nothing here is fact, and as such, please don't go harassing anybody mentioned in this video. I don't even make money off of this. I just want you guys to know that I don't like IShowSpeed. So with that being said, let's begin. First of all, inappropriate jokes. And to make myself abundantly clear, I'm not accusing IShowSpeed of being a kitty cuddler. I am simply pointing out that these jokes are inappropriate, and Speed needs to learn to control himself on stream, or else people are going to come into the wrong conclusions. Let's first start off with the most outrageous joke I've seen ever so far while doing research into him, which is the one where while he was 18, he decided it was a good idea to express his, how should I say, for lack of a better term, attraction towards a K-pop idol named Hyein from New Jeans. We're 1,000 miles from comfort, we have traveled land and sea, but as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I could wait forever, exalted in the scene, as long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. Know with all of your heart you can't shame me when I am with you. There's no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. Oh. We staked out on a mission to find our inner peace, make it everlasting, so nothing's incomplete. It's easy being with you, sacred simplicity, as long as we're together, there's no place I'd rather be. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries, yeah. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. Know with all of your heart you can't shame me when I am with you. There's no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. Who at the time was. And by the way, I'm establishing it as a joke for the benefit of the doubt. I personally don't think of it as a joke, but let's just say that it was a prank, bro. He's just trying to clip farm himself being an adult who's attracted to someone who's that's still an inappropriate joke, and that warrants an apology at the very least. And yeah, it was about 2.5 years ago. Sure, you can say that time heals all wounds and whatnot, but not to me. If Colleen Ballinger can get canceled for making inappropriate jokes, if Shane Dawson can get canceled for making a joke about how he gets a little bit too personal with his cat, Speed, oh my gosh, he certainly should have been canceled for this joke alone. He was made well aware, he acknowledges it on stream, she's quite a ways younger than him, and he still did what he did as an 18-year-old. And what annoys me even more is that no one remembers this. Whenever you go into Speed's chat, you don't see him bringing it up. He never made an apology, he did none, and just moved on like that. I'm not saying that Speed should be punished because it's way too late to take action on something like that happened a couple of years ago. Although, me personally, I think that Speed should get punished 100%, but in the long run, I understand why most people would say he doesn't deserve to get banned for this, but regardless, differences in opinions aside, I'm pointing this out to set up for another instance of an inappropriate joke of this caliber. And I'm also saying that this whole shock value persona is just getting really out of hand. And his shock value is experiencing inflation in real time. It's like the Mr. Beast effect, in which he needs to increasingly become more and more barbaric and unhinged to achieve the same results that he did in his peak, you know? And let me speedrun every single counter argument that I can think of off the top of my head for this situation. If you want to say that he's still a young adult, which is fair because I don't consider humans to be adults until the age of 25 personally, because, their frontal lobe isn't really developed, meaning that they don't have full control over themselves as a person, then it can easily be said that he should still understand age of consent laws. Like, just because you're, like, an adult or, like, a kid, it doesn't take, like, a genius to realize murder is bad. But if you want to say that he's just clip farming for shock value, then that implies he still understands the joke he's making is wrong and dark and disgusting. But it's obviously way too disgusting, and there is a thing called going too far. And just because something is a joke, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden it excuses everything. It doesn't, like, heal everybody all of a sudden. Like, for example, right now, I could say a slur, right? Like, and then after that, I could be like, oh yeah, I know, I'm just being edgy. Sure, that would appeal to a certain audience, but to other people, and to most rational people, that's not okay. You are pushing a certain belief that isn't good, and you're trying to put it in, like, a positive light. You're trying to make everybody laugh about it. You're, like, kind of like watching somebody who is suffering, and then after that, like, you're laughing at them, kind of like that thing, Like, obviously, there's a thing called going too far. Personally, I wouldn't want to pretend to be a map for a clip, but of course, that's just me. If you want to say that he just had a lot of energy and was just being really energetic, then he should still be criticized so he can learn more self-control and stop being so erratic and mature. Like, this still deserves criticism nonetheless. If you want to say that Speed didn't believe her age, well, then maybe he should have just played it safe and stopped biting his lip towards someone who is supposedly a 15-year-old. And abandon the possible clip farming opportunity, because those 5 seconds are, in my opinion, not worth throwing away your entire career over. It's called opportunity cost, guys. You throw away the opportunity to make one single but horrific joke, and in exchange, you don't paint yourself to look like a kitty cuddler. Like, it's not that hard to do the math. The worst part about this is that he didn't stop because he realized that this girl he called attractive was The worst part about this was that he only stopped because he felt like this year-old girl was lying to him about taking him out to a little spot. I know that he's referring to Hyein in this video because she's the one that sings the little part in that song. That's kind of sick, to be precise, deranged, because that implies that he doesn't actually care about himself calling fine as flip-flops. He only cares that this on a screen isn't actually gonna fly across the world to take him out to a little spot. And if you want to make the argument that this expression of satisfaction was just a guise to subtly back out of the whole situation without alerting the audience what actually happened and draw more eyes to it, that's really dumb for the few people who can see through this BS. It's an even worse look. I would have had more respect for Speed if he just said, okay, you know what, like, what I'm doing here is, like, way too far. I'm 18, I shouldn't be doing this. And that's not the only time he's made an inappropriate joke of doing something to a female without legitimate consent. The clip that got him banned 2 years ago.
I stand though. I'm 6'1" though. 7 of the last 2 people on Earth, and we had to reproduce to make the world continue. Reproduce me?
No, because that means our kids will have to intertwine, and then their kids. No.
Who gonna stop me?
I will.
Who's gonna stop me?
I will.
If we're the last 2 people on Earth, who gonna stop me?
Gee,
You're not stopping me. If we're the last 2 people on Earth, who gonna stop me? Chill out. Just, you're good. You're good. You're good. Oh, I'm tripping. I think I'm illegal.
Yeah, that's a horrible look for him. I don't need to explain why that's bad. The punchline for the Hyein joke is where he's basically doing a statue, and the punchline for this joke is that it's just straight up rapping but without the extra P. And again, I understand that some people are going to be saying that this happened a long time ago, but if Shane Dawson can get canceled for making jokes about plowing his cat like it's driveway snow, if Colleen Ballinger can get canceled for sending her underwear to a kid as a joke, if only Jayus can get canceled for a multitude of really derogatory jokes, so should have Speed for making these two jokes. However, for the former, he didn't really see any repercussions. And for the latter, sure, he did get banned on Twitch for a couple of years, but not on YouTube, which is what pushed him to gain a plethora of subs by touring the entire world. And I'm not saying that he should get banned now of all times from a joke that he made years ago. I'm simply explaining that I still personally don't like Speed, never have, and never will. During a time where he should have seen repercussions for something disgustingly offensive, he either straight up didn't get banned or just went to another platform to stream and saw massive success. It's just an example of where something that should have damaged his reputation just didn't for some odd reason. It's straight up plot armor. This guy's got plot armor. He's literally like a character in this story that has plot armor and just needs to live for the sake of living for some sort of crazy narrative in the plot. And it's even crazier that this guy just got banned for jumping over a Lamborghini, but didn't get banned for expressing a sort of attraction towards someone who was like a little kid at the time. It, like, the law of equivalence, you know? Like jumping over a Lamborghini, sure, that's dangerous, and you shouldn't be encouraging kids to jump over a car that's taller than them, but a little kid, like, do you not see the problem here? And yeah, I understand the idea of, oh yeah, well, I mean, the K-pop industry just does this to a lot of certain people all the time, you know, and it's not Speed. Yeah, it is. Let's be real here. Even if it was a joke, like, let's just continue the narrative that it's a joke and that this happened years ago and I shouldn't be criticizing it. He is still, like there's no repercussion from this. If you're going to be doing something as extreme as this, there should be a negative repercussion, even so much as like a joke towards this person. Like, it's just not okay. Speaking of all this saying that females of certain demographics are hot and making rapper jokes, another criticism I have of IShowSpeed. This stream in particular. Now, this isn't me defending people who do hot tub streams, alright? This is just me saying is that if you're treating a certain group of people, specifically women, in a certain way, then you should be treating men in a specific way as well. However, IShowSpeed didn't get banned for having women on his platform doing the exact same thing as certain meta streamers. Twitch streamers, if you remember a while back, were doing a lot of metas. Like, for example, hot tub metas. You know, things like that. And to me, it just isn't fair for those people to have gotten banned while Speed didn't get banned for this, even though he definitely should have gotten banned. That just doesn't really make sense at all to me. And of course, I need to keep reiterating this. I'm not defending meta streamers. I'm saying that meta streamers getting banned sets a precedent for IShowSpeed and like him having on all these women and stuff like that. You know, like that, to me, that's just wrong. Like, you shouldn't be treating a certain demographic this way just because they are of a certain demographic. You should be treating all demographics the same way, morally speaking and practically speaking, because then you're not going to get called out like this. And y'all are now probably wondering, okay, Willie Tato, that was a couple years back. Sure, Speed has had his moments where he's a bit of a crazy lunatic, but what about the modern Speed? W Speed, you know, he does a lot of philanthropy, he's grown up, he gives money to the homeless person on the side, and he even gives his mom money even though she kicked him out. And to that, I have to say, I still don't like him as a person. Sure, a good person can do bad things, but so can a bad person do good things. It's a glass half empty, half full type of debate, but I believe that Speed is more of a bad person who does good things. And here's a few more actually relevant examples as to why I believe that Speed is just not really, in my opinion at least, a good person. First of all, texting and driving.
I don't need to change nothing, bro. Chad, what's that song? Bro.
Damn!
The fuck are they doing, bro? What is he doing?
Never really got a ban or anything like that, just kind of was texting and driving. Sure, it's a quote-unquote minor thing, oh, no pun intended. But you're probably going to get annoyed at me for pointing it out. And I'm a little bit late to this since it did happen about a month ago. But the reason why I bring it up is because he had a month to get some sort of repercussions for that. And yet he still didn't get punished. Which doesn't really make any sense at all, considering there's plenty of other people who have actually gotten banned for the exact same thing. He gets banned for making a joke about non-consent, but he doesn't get banned for using a cellular device while driving, which puts people at physical harm instead of just displaying the idea of physically causing harm to someone, I guess. At this point, it's gonna take someone to getting in order to start enforcing the law at some point. Oh wait, we're already there. If you know, you know. And the thing about Speed is that he makes content for both kids and adults. In fact, here's the clip that shows it. He said so himself.
I look, only join my streams when I play games, okay? And always ask your mother, can I watch Speed stream? Because I'm not just for kids. So remember, ask your parents before you watch me to see if the settings are right. Because you never know, I might be jumping off of the building or doing the back off the building. So always ask your parents, Mom, can I watch IShowSpeed? And it depends on what I'm doing. And if I'm doing something good, if I'm playing Roblox, if I'm playing Still the Brain Right, you know Still the Brain Right?
Sure, there's obviously nothing wrong with creating content that is meant for everyone. However, the thing about Speed is that when you create content that is suitable and targeted towards both children and adults, you kind of need to stick to that. If you transition to making other content that is catered only to children, then you lose your adult audience, which does make your channel more profitable, but at the same time, you gotta adhere to the rules of making appropriate content for a child audience. If you transition to making content that is catered only to adults, you kind of lose out on that child audience. And you're pretty much supposed to make sure that you take the measures to not have that egregious and offensive content that would offend people. Not in the sense of hurting their feelings, but just having uncomfortable / illegal content. And since Speed does both, he's gonna need to find the fine line between barfing out rainbow lucky tongue sahurs for the children and being someone who's on some real stuff to include the adults. And then after that, use that line as a jump rope in order to actually, produce content that is meant for both kids and adults. And when he is telling that kid, hey, remember to ask your parents for permission before watching me, that's a good thing. I can't argue when Speed does that. Roblox, FNAF, etc., they're all games that are popular with children, and as such attract a child audience, for the children that share your interests. In that sense, don't you think that kids that subscribe to you to watch you to play games, don't you think that those kids would tune into all your other streams? They shouldn't have to ask their parents for permission to watch you when you create content that is primarily meant for kids. And then after that, you have some adult content that is also meant for adults and not for children. But that means that your channel isn't good for kids at times, and that's not okay. You're doing things that are, in my opinion, inappropriate for an audience that likes games, and then you're expecting said kids to have to ask their parents every single time for permission. And I know what you guys are thinking. Willie Tato, shouldn't parents be monitoring what their kids watch? He's literally only asking children to do the basic thing of asking their parents for permission before watching something on the internet. And yeah, that's kind of the problem. Parents, oh my gosh. Parents should, of course, be monitoring what their kids watch. When you let your kid watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, you kind of done goofed as a parent. But when Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey has 53 million subscribers, and there's a whole bunch of bots that kind of just pirate the movie and post it everywhere, it's kind of hard to avoid the gosh darn movie, And now, omae wa sugi ni, or something like that, I don't speak Japanese. If you're so smart then Willie Tato, what could possibly be the solution to all your really lax and sensitive Sammy criticisms? And to that, I have to say that I don't have the perfect solutions. I'm not a magical genie, I don't even have a magical genie, but what I do know are some suggestions. First off, create a second channel. Don't merge all your content into one place where you create kids content and then adults content and don't expect the audiences to intermingle with each other. That way you can have adults on one side and kids on the other side. Kind of like in a restaurant, like a family restaurant. You got a kid side and then you got an adult side, or at least something like that. I don't know, I've never been to a family restaurant. But second of all, don't text and drive. Didn't think I needed to say this, but don't do it. Not only will your insurance go up like tenfold if you're getting into an accident, I'm Asian, I'm obviously speaking from personal experience, but also, you probably might severely injure or even send someone to meet their maker. Third of all, Speed's gotta get off the hub. If you know, you know. But of course, watch what you say. Maybe it's best if you don't include them youngsters whenever you're in clip farming mode, or really anything that could signify you to be a bad person. Fifth, and last, so yeah, that's about it. That's all I really gotta say. Overall, I just don't like IShowSpeed because his clip farming persona, as well as just how he's been acting lately, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I still think what he said a couple years back is still really weird, and if you skip that part on why I think this criticism is still valid in 2026, too bad, so sad. Look back at the video if you want to see my argument for that. Also, there's multiple very easy things that he can do moving forward to make himself just a better content creator in general. Go back to the previous section. That's about it. That's all I really gotta say. I hope you all have a good day, and bye.